Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we love talking about movies and more. I'm your host, Mason Phillips, and this is a new series I'm starting called The Road to Doomsday. Now, I know a lot of people on YouTube are already doing this, but for this series, I want to do 5-minute reviews over each project in the MCU. And I'm not just talking about the movies, I'm not just talking about the Disney Plus shows, I'm talking about the Marvel Entertainment shows like Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, I'm including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this watch-along, and it's also going to tie into that MCU Restructured series that I've started on my YouTube channel, so I hope you're enjoying that. I hope you enjoy this series, but I wanted to tackle Captain America: The First Avenger. We're going to go chronologically here. So starting with Captain America: The First Avenger. This film, what made it so special? Why is it so exciting? Why does it still work to this day? What made it so wholesome, and what made it just stand out amongst the Phase 1 films that were released leading up to the Avengers? For me, the beginning starts with Chris Evans. If Chris Evans as Captain America doesn't work, the film doesn't work. So Chris Evans as Steve Rogers as Captain America, you see him as this man who just wants to do good for the sake of wanting to do good. He's not even somebody who's really trying to prove himself. He already has that willingness to do what's right, even in spite of his physical limitations, the fact that he is smaller, he doesn't really have much muscle mass to him, but he's still willing to do the right thing. He'll face a bully in a back alley, he'll jump on a grenade, he'll do what it takes to do the right thing, even when all the odds are up and against him. So the character of Captain America, played by Chris Evans, the fact that that works so well is why a movie like Captain America: The First Avenger still stands out, making this a period piece. Captain America is a character that was created because of World War II, out of that time of fighting the Nazis and going up against the Axis powers. Captain America was this symbol created in wartime, kind of a propaganda tool, but was to symbolize this man of hope, this man of power, this symbol of America in this wartime during World War II. Taking the character back to that point, I'm so glad they did that. At one point, they were talking about making this movie half period piece, half present day. So I'm glad that they decided to mostly keep this in the 1940s, with the exception of the opening, the end of the film. But the majority of this film, the plot, takes place in the 1940s during World War II. Making this a period piece, I think, was so smart. It really makes this one of the few rare films in the MCU that doesn't actually take place in the year that it was released. It was a gamble for sure, but I'm glad that they went with this. It really makes this film stand out. It kind of separates it from the modern day films, puts it in a time and a place that is a little bit more warm, a little bit more welcoming, even in spite of the wartime that's going on in this film. There's something very engaging about that, very hopeful about this film. Making this film a period piece really helped this film to stand on its own. It kind of separates it from the rest of the Captain America series, but I think that helps this film. It really helps to establish this character of Captain America, not really having to tie into the larger MCU. Yes, it's setting up stuff within the MCU, but it's able to really stand on its own and not really have to rely on anything else that's already been established. The supporting cast, Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter, of course, we get to see more of her in her own show, Agent Carter, the one-shot Agent Carter. She's been Captain Carter recently, but her first appearance here in Captain America: The First Avenger. Love the chemistry between her and Chris Evans. Can't wait to see more of those two in Doomsday, but the fact that she works so well, the fact that she's believable, she's a character that definitely can stand on her own. She's not reliant on that relationship, that romantic relationship, and that's what makes this character work so well, is that it's only made better and sweeter because the two of them are together. Characters that work completely well independently, but when they come together, it just makes it all that much sweeter when they are together. So her as the love interest in this film, I think one of the better representations of what a love interest is supposed to be in a comic book movie. And Captain America is one of the pillars of the MCU. So the fact that his first film worked out so well, it just helps to establish where this character is going to go for the rest of the Infinity Saga, where we are now with Avengers Doomsday. This film is unique. I love that they got a director like Joe Johnston, somebody who worked on a film like The Rocketeer. The blending of his directorial style and what they wanted for this film, this character of Captain America, this 1940s version at least, blends so well, had the perfect vision for where to take this film, putting elements like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, into a film like this, little bits of The Mummy. You can definitely see those touch points, and I love the eye, the view, the vision that he had for a movie like this. And then let's talk about Alan Silvestri, the composer of Captain America: The First Avenger, and then went on to be the composer of the Avengers, and then Infinity War and Endgame, and is coming back for Doomsday. I just love what he did that Captain America March, that symphonic score for Captain America. It's such a memorable theme. It's a theme that I kind of wish had stayed through the rest of the series with Captain America. I kind of understand why they dropped it, but it's so powerful, it's so memorable. The music in this film is almost another character unto itself. It's one of the few films in the MCU where the score, the music really stands out. It doesn't get lost in all the noise. It's a character unto itself. This film is, I think, one of the more overlooked films in the MCU, but is one of the most important films in the MCU. I give Captain America the First Avenger a 4 out of 5 or a B+ on the letter scale. What would you give Captain America the First Avenger? What ranking would you give it? What are your thoughts on this movie? Go down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.